Okay, so you see my screen, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now what we gonna do is, okay. So we were stuck. Uh, so we went through the whole configuration, and when we did systemctl stash dhcpd, so this was giving the problem, right? So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna remove I'm gonna go ahead and remove this nick bonding here, okay? It may be causing the problem. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna take the nick bonding off. So what I'm gonna do is, so what folder do I go in for nick bonding? cd etc sysconfig network script, and I do ls here, and this is nick bonding here. So I'm gonna just rename it. I use move command to rename it, and then .bak. Okay, when you're working, deleting something, or you don't want anything, good idea is not to permanently delete something, okay? Just keep it a backup. Okay, so with this name, nick bonding is disabled now. If you do ls, it's this name here, so the bonding cannot read that. Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go back in here and then set the static IP in there. Okay, so what I'll do is device equals, and then I'm gonna do name also. This is going back to our class where I showed how to set up static IP. On boot use boot proto dhcp, no static, and I'm gonna get rid of these two lines. Okay, and here I'm gonna add IP ADDR equals 192.168.56.133. Okay, and net mask equals 255.255.255.0. This is going to be the same all the time. In fact, let's go back there. Okay, so these are the essential things you need if you are using the DHCP. Okay, for static IP, these are the things you need here: Ethernet, static IP, name, device, boot, and it says hardware address. You don't really need that, okay? But let's go ahead and add hardware address anyway. So how do you find out the hardware address? If you do IP-A, I'm sorry, and we are messing around with ENP0S3. This is the network adapter and this is the hardware address. Okay, MAC address is the hardware address. Ethernet. Okay, yeah, I'm missing one line here. Go up here and add type equals Ethernet. Okay, type equal Ethernet, and we have device name, device and name, boot, yes, and boot proto static. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna save and exit. And I'm gonna copy this, clear IPA, right? I'm going to go into this adapter also, okay? And I'm going to set this as, we don't need a second adapter anyway in this situation here, okay? So I'm going to just put down DHCP. And type equals Ethernet. So for DHCP, all you need is 4 lines in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So name also. Name equal ENP0S8. That's it. I'm going to clear this and I'm going to restart the system here. It's going to be the new IP anyway. Okay, so we are getting 192.68.56.133. Good. Okay, so now Now what I'm going to do is uh, okay, it's not here, right? Okay, so all these configurations should be good. So I'm going to start the service XINAT. I'm going to enable it. These are the ones we already ran through it, okay? So I'm just running it again. Alright, so now we should not get any error message. Uh-oh. Via etc dhcpd dh. What I'm going to do is this is dhcpd configuration file, right? pxc01.zmpt.com. What I'm going to do is, let me go into my old class. So I'm simply copying and pasting here, which should work just fine. Okay, didn't copy everything. What it didn't copy. DNS. .133 and 133 over here too, right? Okay. So I'm gonna start the service here. There you go. Okay, it is identical here. Maybe I was missing a space or something, so that I was not able to eyeball it. So when you are setting this up, copy and paste it exactly the way it is. Okay, so now Now what I'm going to do is go down and start the other services. Okay, so and the DHCP is enabled, and I'm going to start VSFTPD, and I'm going to enable it too. Okay, and system CTL, I'm going to start this. Looking good because we're not getting any errors. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to deal with the Pixie boot, I think. Not Pixie boot. There is a command you get from white pages that you need to put a hole. We are doing so many configuration, right? We are making a lot of changes in here, and what will happen is, what is SC Linux? We talked about SC Linux here, right? So what we are doing is there is a allow FTPD full access. So you need to, this is set to 0. We need to do this and make it 1 here. When you make it 1, that means it's enabling it. So we are putting a hole through the SC Linux here. What SC Linux does is it will block unusual activity, right? Everybody agree with me? And now what we need to do is we need to put a hole in firewall. You know, in real world scenario, you should never disable the firewall here. I'm going to take this out. Okay, so in the firewall, what you have to do is you have to type firewall cmd -- add service equals FTP. You're adding a service to, and you're making it permanent. Okay, no. What?
Mr. Zafar?
Yeah.
I had a question. So last time you tried opening it through the SC Linux, the one of the ports, did we ever fix that for the through FileZilla?
Yeah, we did. So the port was, you have to add the port to SSHD config file, okay?
Oh yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
And then port 22 is default. If you put the port SSH config in there or not, it's still open here. But once you do this here, then port 20 is blocked. 22 is blocked. When you have put in manually in there, then it will allow it again. There is a lot. Here's the thing, guys. I mean, I think showed you a lot of stuff in here, but I didn't teach you everything. Okay, so even myself, I'm learning things myself every day, because I think I mentioned one time, this operating system or any software on the planet is still a work in progress. Okay, somebody is working on. Okay, so you go up to so much level. After that, a new technology, a new concept comes up. You just stop right there and start a new version. Okay, so like Windows 7 was there, and so many new things that piled up. So what they will do is they include everything what they have previously and start off with the new stuff, and then what they have already worked previously, they don't have to reconfigure and all those. Anything new is coming up, they will continue upgrading those until they reach a point that they will decide, okay, now we need to call it a new version or a new release or whatever. Okay, so you get all this information from white pages here. Okay, so the more you use this, the better it gets every day. Now I'm gonna bring this back up. I'm gonna allow DHCP service. Okay, and this works on port 69. I'm gonna say add port equals 69. 69 is a port that is not normally open, but we are opening it now. Okay, and now so port 69 is open, and also port 69 we need to open on UDP also. This is required for DHCP. It will give out the IP addresses. And there is more ports, which is 4011. Okay, and then I'm going to reload the firewall. Once you open it, that doesn't mean it's active unless you reload it. Okay, you must get all this as successful. If you're not getting this as successful, then something's wrong. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my VirtualBox, and I'm gonna create a new machine. I'm gonna say RHEL network installation 01. Okay, and I'm gonna say 2048 the memory size, and I'm gonna go next, and then I'm gonna give hard drive size 24 GB. Okay, and I'm gonna save it. I go back in here. Uh-oh, why did I double click on it? Okay, so I go into settings and system, put a check on network and bring all the way up here and bring up all the way up here. Okay, so let me take a picture of this.
Do you have the recording going on, Mr. Zafar?
Yeah, recording is on. Now that you asked me, let me check it again. Yeah, the recording is on. Okay, so Okay, so you must have this in there. Okay, so and I'm gonna show you the storage here. You know what? Let me actually try new. I'm gonna say new, and then here I'm gonna type okay, and if you go next, you put on 24. Now that I've created this, I'm gonna clone all this, okay? All I'm gonna do is give it a 03. Full clone. 02. I should have gone to 02. Okay, so let me just capture it. I don't like the picture there. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start all three simultaneously. Okay, they're all gonna boot from this puppy here. They're all gonna boot from the Pixie server. Okay, let's look at the magic here now. Okay, this is 1. And this is 2. And this is 3. Uh-oh. It's saying no boot devices found, right? So what you have to do is you have to check, make sure it's go into machine, settings, network. So I messed up a little bit here. I'm gonna cancel this. Power off. Go in settings. No, it's not storage. Network. And set this to host only adapter. And leave this alone. Don't need to set it to all and all that here. So
We don't need to allow all.
I don't think so. If we need to, we'll come back there.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do it for all of them. All right, I'm gonna start all three at the same time. Is 1, is 2, and here's a 3. What the? So it didn't kept the settings here. I don't know why. Sorry about that. Let me go back in there and change the boot settings, okay? I thought I made sure I did the Didn't we did this here? But apparently it didn't keep the settings. Okay, go into system and select network, bring it all the way up, and hard drive, bring it second up, and uncheck the other two. Just click OK there. Okay, now let's do it for the second one. System, bring this all the way up, put a check, uncheck these two, bring the hard drive up, system, put a check, and this is we are changing the boot device where it's booting from. Okay, when it was network, we were adding the network drive in there, I mean the CD. I'm sorry, when it was CD, we go into storage, we click on empty, and then we would have selected the ISO image we downloaded here. Now we're gonna get this from the network. Okay, so I'm gonna select all three and then start now, and close this and minimize this. I got one. Okay, look at that. 2 and 3. Look at that. That means it's working. All these 3 servers are connected to the all 3 are booting from the server we set up. Okay, it's gonna act as if it's booting from the CD. It's fair enough. Okay, so what is happening now? We have like an installation happening on 3 servers simultaneously. Okay, so it might be slow in our situation here. Why? Because we already are running so many, sucking up so many resources here. But in reality, it is coming from the network. So the CD, this is coming up as if it's a CD is there. What I'll do is I'll actually close one of them because it's too much for my computer here. Why? Because we are doing all this in VirtualBox here. I don't have too much resources here. So okay, look at it here. The installation source, it says 192.168.56.113. Okay, perfect. This is where it's the installation source is coming from. I'm gonna restart here because it was stuck. Any questions regarding this, guys? So if you look at our diagram here,
So what part did you do in VirtualBox? So when you booted up one, they all booted up together.
I could hear you, but you're muffled.
So which part did you do to make it when in VirtualBox when you booted up one of the servers, they all booted up together?
Yeah. So all these things are set up here. Once this server is, whatever we set up, this must be running. And the only thing we ask the virtual machine to boot using the network. Okay? So we enable the host adapter and we ask it to boot. When we have this network as first boot device, that means it's going to go through the network and copy it from there. Is that what you ask?
Yes. I just wanted to know through VMware VirtualBox when you set them up so they would all boot up together. You wouldn't have to go through each one.
Yeah. No, normally set this up on one box, make sure you're doing it, and then clone it. I don't know why the clone didn't take it. So look on the one on the left side. It's doing as if it's going through the installation from the CD here, but the other one on the right side is failing because I mean, I don't have enough resources here, so many things are running on this computer. And if you look at the memory here, probably memory is the problem here. Yeah, so right now, and the CPU, so I don't have enough CPU for this to run here. But in a real world scenario, you will have like a really high performance systems, okay? But what we are doing here is just the demo here. I mean, we're not actually doing it. I mean, it is working as if you would do it in real world scenario, okay? You would do this in the engineering part, and then you could do all this this work, setting up, and all this would be done by the people inside services. I mean, those are technicians who would be setting this up. They don't need to do all what we have configured. All they do is just boot the system up and it will, boom, it will start installing the operating system and all for you.
Okay. So when one person has to do this, is it all one person's job to set up the whole entire Pixie server, or no? Multiple.
No, you usually you work in team.
Okay.
So what will happen is you do planning, and then you know how nice, without any asking anybody, I just took at my own convenience the IP address. Normally you're gonna have to open a request in the real world scenario, open a request with the network team, okay? And they are the one who will provide you the IP address. Okay, use this IP address which will be available. Okay. And then you go and make an entry into DNS with this name, okay? If your team is huge, then it will be split up into engineering, DNS, and then so you're dealing with thousands of systems here, right? Not one person would be able to do it. So this is a real hardcore engineering part here, okay? So you work with other teams to get the IP addresses and all that.
Okay.
But in principle, all these are the system setup we did here. This is exactly what you would do in a real world scenario. Okay, if you want, you could change the directories around. You could do that part for sure. All right, so while it's doing that, let's go back. So this is where the configuration ended here. And the last thing I'm gonna do is VSFTPD. Okay, you could definitely set up your own VSFTPD.
So do you also use the Windscape over there, or would they use a separate app to do that? What you used it to create for the Pixie server?
Uh, I could hear you, but you're muffled. What do I need to do for Pixie Server?
Would you normally use the Windscape that you use to for the Pixie server, or would they use a different application to do what you used it for?
It could be anywhere, but as long as you're connecting to, once you're in there, you're in Red Hat environment. You could install Red Hat on physical hardware
Okay.
and follow along these instructions, and it will work just fine.
Okay.
And you could boot the physical. If you set up one laptop, or no, don't set up laptop, set up on one desktop, and then you could make that computer to boot with the network boot here. So this part here, if you're doing it on a physical hardware, this part here, you have to do interrupt. On Dell computer, you do F12, and it will give you the option here where you want to boot from, network or hard drive.
Okay. So when they're setting up, they're using actual hard disk and CDs and things, correct?
I mean, if it's in a virtual environment, then they don't.
Okay.
If it's a physical environment, then they would. So yeah, let's work on this one here. So what I'm gonna do is, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this here. This one is kind of struggling, but you guys got the idea here, okay? Okay, so for VSFPD, we're gonna use the Red Hat 8. Okay, Red Hat 7 might have a bug. That's why we are not able to do it. So let's use Red Hat 8 and see what comes up. Okay, so I'm gonna make a clone. I think I put in a link, right, for you guys to download the Red Hat 8 in the chat. Let me check in the chat. I put it in right. The location to download in the chat. Okay, so I didn't. So, but anyway, I'll put this in the chat, and then you guys could start downloading it. Okay, so once you do that, then I'm gonna go ahead and clone this. I'm gonna go say right click clone. I'm gonna give it a name VSFTPD. Next. Okay, so I'm gonna start this. Make sure I have internet connection. Okay, I'm gonna log in as root, Red Hat. Okay, let me get the IP address. I'm getting 192.68.56.134. Ah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow along. So I'm gonna say yum install VSF TPD. Okay, it's almost the same instructions. Even for Red Hat 6, it's the same instructions. Okay. So it's don't want to use that. Okay, and now once you install it, what you have to do is you have to enable the service, right? So what you do is clear it. You do system ctl start vsftpd and you have to enable it. Okay, the service started and enabled. What does enable means over here? It means it will be available when if the system reboots for some reason, then it will. And now let's check the status. And it's running, right? Status is running. Let me see. Now I'm going to create the user. So let me see if a user is in there. Cat etc password file is the where you go check the user. And you see the user is Zafar, right? What I'm gonna do now is okay, so there is one hard drive sitting here and getting wasted here, so I'm gonna make that hard drive available. Okay, set the user. Before that, I'm gonna say ID Zafar. So he's set up there, right? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create SDB. I'm gonna do PV create. What is the problem here? Why is it giving error? I have to type PV create. And now I'm gonna say VG create. And so I don't remember the command. So what I do is I go back to my cheat sheet here. LVM. I'm telling you guys, LVM will haunt you. You need to know LVM inside out. Okay, so I'm gonna say VG create. Instead of ZMPT1, I'm gonna give the name so that it reflects. I'm gonna give the name FTP underscore volume. dev/sdb. Okay, and it's created successfully. Now what I'm going to do is lv create -n, and I'm going to give it a name FTP data -l, and then what is the size of the disk is 16G, right? I'm going to give it 10G. And where I am getting this from, FTP volume. I'll hit enter. Okay, and so it's there. Now what I'm going to do is LVS. Let me copy this part. So volume group is there. Okay, so VGS is created. You do lsblk. Now let's mount it to the place where it's gonna be. I'm gonna say mkdir slash ftp user data. Now I'm gonna mount FTP user data. I'm gonna mount this to what am I gonna mount? Where? How do I mount it? How do I mount it? I had a brain freeze here. So.
Mount -A.
No, that's from, you're doing it from the Mount-A is if you're doing it from the FS tab. Mount / def / and rest is here. And then rest / I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna put it on the user data, okay? What is the error? Why are we getting the error? I'm going to do mkfs.xfs. The file system is not there, that's why. And now what you do is you put this in the FS tab, VIETC FS tab, and you go down here so what you do is you copy this line and change this part to this part, and change that part to this part here, okay? Mount -A. Uh-oh. Okay, now it should work. Okay, so now what we're gonna have to do is we have to set the directory permissions. Let me do ls-ld/. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to do chmod -r, that means recursively 750. Okay, now you see obviously the user and the group has, owner has the chmod and the owner. So I'm gonna change the ownership to Zafar. chown -r Zafar and a colon. Okay, look at that. So the group owner and the root, the file owner and the group owner is Zafar now. Now what I'm gonna do is so the default directory, what is the default directory for the user here? Let's do id Zafar, but it's not there, right? If you do vi etc password, yeah, go ahead.
Just asking for a quick reminder. Is it when you change the ownership, both the group and the owner both change with that command with chown?
Yeah.
Or is it because it did recursively, it changed both?
No, the owner, we are doing it both for the Zafar, and this is the owner single user Zafar, and this is the group Zafar. When you create a user, it will create a same exact group with the same exact name. Is that what the question is?
Oh, so it's just when you did ls-ld for the file, it was just listing the user. It wasn't listing the file permissions for the file FTP user data.
Yeah, earlier the root was the user, right? Root is the owner, and group root is also the group owner. Now regular user, single user Zafar and group Zafar is all on this folder here.
So now group owner Zafar also owns the file.
Yeah.
So the group ownership changed.
Yes.
Okay. So that always changes when you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that always changes when you use the chown command, or is it because when you used dash capital R?
No, chown command. -r means recursively means existing file also. If there were any existing file that owned by somebody else, it would have changed the ownership to this guy.
Like any existing files within FTP user data?
Yep.
Oh,
You got
okay.
it. So if you do vi etc password, the ownership, if I hit enter, so the default this is the default folder, right? To throw in all the data for the Zafar. So we're going to change this here. Default directory for Zafar is going to be, okay, we have to get out of here and copy this line. Okay, this one. As a root, you have a lot of things. You have a lot of power to mess around in here, okay? Okay, now what we need to do is we need to, okay, so let's go ahead and log in as Zafar and see what happens. Okay, see, the default landing directory for Zafar is FTP user data. Why? Because we messed around and changed it in here, that's why. Did you get it?
Yes.
Now there is a user list where we have to add Zafar so that he could get access through FTP. Vi etc vsftpd and the user list. Okay, so if you read in here, if the user list deny no, only allow user in this file here. So we're gonna go change this configuration file somewhere else, okay? Just so I'm gonna add Zafar in here. Okay, so now I'm gonna do configure. Okay, so we're gonna have to configure the vsftpd config file. So where is that file located? In the vsftpd folder. Okay, so vi etc vsfpd and vsfpd.conf. okay, this is the file you have to mess around in here. So uh, in here, so anonymous is gonna be no. Okay, and local user enable yes. Okay, we have to do write enable yes. And let's go down in here and look for something that says ch root. So what you do is ch root local underscore user. We need this line, so I'm uncommenting it. Okay, and I want to see allow writable. Writable. Oh, it's not in there, right? So come all the way down here and type in allow underscore writable ch root, that means change root, equal yes. Okay, and then you have to allow the ports. I'm gonna explain what is this passive underscore win underscore port equals 50,000 30,000, okay, to 31,000. Minimum maximum actually. Okay, and here you have to tell you where the user list is, okay? So up here it says user list here, right? I'm going to put it here. User list underscore file equals the location etc vsftpd slash user underscore list. Where is this coming from? Here. Okay, etc vsftpd user underscore list looks good to me. Okay, and in here you say user list underscore deny equals no. Okay, anybody who is in this list, do not deny. Right here, user deny no. That means allow only users in this file. If you have more users in the system but that user is not listed in this file, then there is no chance he will get into the system. So the ones which are highlighted, we added.
So you're saying anybody who's not on the list won't be able to access the server?
Yeah.
So what happens when we are trying to do the, what was it, the SSL connection or the, what was it, the and then the SSH connection from another computer?
Yeah, so when you're publishing only for the FSTPD, then you could do it. And SSH is usually done by the people who are managing it. This is for the user in the public domain. Did you get it?
Sort of. Could you
No.
explain it again?
So the user we have, if I remove the user from this list, and if I want to
Yes.
use connect as FTP, I won't be able to do that. But if I'm doing as a SSH, I am. So when you're publishing it for the users, if somebody wants like a FTP connection, you're not giving them
Yep.
the access to this server here. So you're giving access to the FTP files and folders. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the lines we added.
So if a person is connecting through SSH using a user that's on the system, so Terminator, they log in, they won't be able to access anything that's under the FTPD files or VSFTPD. Is that what you're saying? They have to be listed under this particular file,
Yeah.
user list?
That is true.
Okay.
Okay, so now there's a moment of truth now. So let's start the service and see what happens here. Systemctl restart VSFTPD. Oh shoot, it failed. It's not good if the service is failing. Okay, yeah, we have to come back here. It's not going to be working right now. So now what we're going to
Mr.
do is we're
Zafar,
going to... Yeah, go ahead.
if we when you try to do that command, it told us to check the status of the VS TP.
Yeah. Yeah, it
If
will
we
give
were to
us...
check the status of that,
Yeah.
would it tell us where to go to fix it?
Yeah, it will. So the control process exited. So the passive. So we have to open the ports here. So we are... Firewall is blocking the ports and SE Linux is blocking. So we have to do furthermore configuration. Then we'll restart it again and see what happens.
Where do you see that on the status? Where is it telling you that?
So firewall CMD and you do port hyphen list. Okay, or list port. Okay, right now the default port is there, so we're gonna be using the non-standard ports here. So just bear with me. I'll come to there. Okay, so first first secure the environment. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is which open SSL. So it's already installed on the system here, right? So what I'm gonna do is open SSL, and I'm gonna create a SSL certificate. So REQ -X509 -nodes, and how many days I want this for certificate. So if you go in here to any place in here, like you go to CNN.com, and you see the site is secure here, right? If you click on that arrow here and click on certificate, and you, in fact, you could see the certificate validity here is usually is 1 year. And who is issuing it? The issuing authority is Global Sign Cloud SSL certificate. So in this scenario, what we are doing is we are giving ourselves our own certificate, okay? So I'm going to set the days to a lot of days here, 9,000 days. End of the days. And then I'm going to say new key. And this is RSA, then the encryption type 2048, 2048. Okay, and then key out. Where is the location for the key out? I'm going to say put it in etc folder. PEM. And then we needed one more place. Out. etc dot vsftpd.pem. vsftpd and vsftpd.pem.
So what is the key out doing?
It's gonna key out means it's gonna put this key is gonna put it in two locations. It's gonna put it in. It's creating the key. Remember when we did SSH? It has keys in it. The file.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what it is.
Will it be encrypted? It'll have two, a public and a private
this will
one?
be encrypted. Yeah. I'm gonna type the country name US, state is Illinois, city is Skokie, and company name ZMPT, organization IT, server name. What is the server name here? You just give FTP. Okay, FTP -server. Linux at zmprotech.com. Okay? All right. We could go in these locations and check it out. Give me 1 second. Creator. This is the encryption key that will be exchanged. Okay, now let's see if we could.
Mr. Zafar, you forgot to add the email at the bottom.
Forgot to add what?
The email.
The email part.
What does the .pem stand for?
PEM,
Yes.
that's the format of the key. So if I clear this, if I do ls-la, if I go to cd dot, the SSH is not there yet, right? .pem is the format of the key. The key will have the extension and then it's .pem. Like a Word document, it has an extension, right? Dot extension will be .doc, doc or whatever. So this file should have PEM key in it too. Okay, right here it says .pub, right? And no, all these are PEM key here. For some reason, why is it not showing? Maybe it will show in all. It will show in the SSL. So let's go to cd/etc. Let's do ls-l etc vsf tpd.pem. ls-l. So it has a configuration. This is a file here. If I cat this file, it will be same thing. See, it will be same thing as a RSA key. No, this is the same thing as if you. This looks familiar, right? The alphanumeric key. Yeah.
Looks like the private SSH.
Yeah,
the
one of those.
one.
Yeah, true. And then if I cat etc vsftpd vsftpd.pem, it's the same exactly. We have two keys in here, okay? So what we need to do is we need to go back to our VIETC vsftpd and vsftpd.configuration file, and we have to add these two lines in there on the bottom. Okay, so what I'm going to do is oh shoot, what did I do? Let me copy this. Okay, so we're gonna do the encryption key, and then we're gonna go out there and edit in there. This, we go back in there again and edit this file. So in here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enter the information where the RSA key is, RSA underscore certificate file, and where is it located as? etc vsftpd / vsftpd.pem and rsa underscore cert underscore file. This is very important. When you are configuring it, copy and paste, okay? Equal etc vsftpd.pem. Actually, this is a, I'm gonna use this as a private key. Okay, and enable SSL, yes.
For the private key, it's just VSFTP, not VSFPTD.
Yeah.
PD.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna use same exact key here. No problem. So all these things is coming up. You do one time research it. You can work on it like few days, research it, and read the configuration. Get some help from Red Hat if you need to. And this is how it works. Okay. Once you have this, you create a document and you establish the process in your company. That's how it works. Let's do system ctl restart vsf tpd. No, we still have to do the firewall here. So before that, open a firewall for the okay, so the ports. So the port used by the FTP is for traffic and data it is used 20, and for data it used 21. So how are you going to do that? Firewall cmd -- permanent, and you do add port equals 2021 and TCP. Okay, and we are gonna add like a random ports here. So whatever gonna happen is 30,000 to 31,000 TCP, and then I'm gonna reload the firewall. There you go. These are the exceptional firewall rules. The port 22 and all that we use normally are still there, okay?
Why did we need to open up port 20 and 21?
20 is inbound port and 21 is a data port.
So why did we need that instead of just using port 22?
We are using TLS. Port 22 is for SSH, right? It's kind of reserved.
Okay.
So port 20 to allow FTP traffic. port 21 to allow data transfer. Okay, and port 30,000.
So what are you allowing by for port 21 for data transfer?
Because one is a traffic, the other one is a data transfer. So we are specifying it. They will add, if we allow data transfer on the same port, we could do that. But if we allow on 21, then it's taking one route to for a traffic and another route for a data. So when you're downloading it, that's what the traffic is. It use
So if I
20,
want-
and then if you want to copy it to the server, then it's using port 21.
Okay, so just 20 is just so you can connect.
Yeah.
Okay.
31,000 is a variable, okay? Um, so it will be random. You wouldn't know which port is using. It will be random port between port number 31,000 and 61,000, 30,000 and 31,000. You don't have to try using, when you're using it, try using between 50,000 and 51,000, something like that. It should work fine without problem. Okay, and then I'm going to restart the system, VSFTPD. Oh, God.
Do you still need to open it through the SE?
For SE Linux, I think so, yeah.
For that, last time we were having, you said you have to put it in 3 separate folder or files, right, for it to work?
Let's see here. The files, SE Linux. Let me. Okay, so you have to make sure you're typing it right. That's the very first thing you have to do. Okay, so let me go back in here. Let me start from the bottom. SSL enable. Okay, so let's see here. SSL enable equal yes, right? RSA private underscore key file is gonna be etc. Aha, right there. VSFTPD. Okay. RSA cert file etc VSFTPD file. Okay, and then I'm just eyeballing this here, and the passive.
Between etc and vsftpd.pem, isn't there supposed to be another a vsftpd, like the line above it?
No, because we have this in two different locations.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah, right here. I think I put it in the notes. And the passive PASSIV, no, so I have an extra S in here. passive minimum port 30,000 and maximum port 31,000. Okay, and user allow writable ch root, user list underscore deny equal no, right? And then the user list underscore file is etcfstpd underscore user list underscore list, and user list enable yes. Okay, allow PAM services. Okay, so far it looks good. Yeah. Okay, there you go, no problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check the status, and let me actually copy the correction in there.
So will the new ports you added be able to work even through the SC Linux, or we have to add it through SC Manage?
We might not. If we need to, then we'll come back to it. So let's do it. Since we have the configuration file, not the configuration file. What did we have here is just verify this and everything else copy paste in there. SC manage we may not have to, but let's see here. Let's look at this here, and this is the FileZilla, and our IP. What is our IP? 192.168. No. What's our IP, guys? 134, right? Did we set this up as a static IP? If you want, you could set it up as a static IP. Correct? We just set it up as a yeah, we didn't set up a static IP here. Okay, I'm going to launch FileZilla here, okay? And in here, I go new, and all right, new site. I'm going to put in the IP address, okay? And what I'm going to do is the logon is TLS, right? So I'm going to leave this alone here. So the name is Zafar and the password Red Hat. Okay, let me take the screenshot.
Where it shows the encryption when you're using FileZilla, could you explain some of those, like which each one means, what it's saying? So like for this one, it says use explicit FTP over TLS if available.
Yeah, give me a moment. I'll do that.
Okay.
So FileZilla is outside application. What it does is it is automatically doing it for you. If it would have been an older version, you would have to put in the port here. Okay, and then the protocol we are using is FTP. And use FTP over TLS if available. That means the system, it will cover both of them. The second one, explicit and implicit. That means that you're forcing it to use TLS. And this one is you're not forcing it. So if you select this one here, use explicit TLS, it will cover both of them. If available, use TLS. If not, then use implicit. Or use it without secure. So it's going to cover all three. So this should work here. The first one and the second one both should work.
Okay. So for explicit, that one makes you
then you have to have the TLS set up. If the TLS is now the FTP, you could set it up without TLS. I won't recommend that.
Which one would you not recommend?
Without TLS.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say connect. There you go. See, it came up. All this here, it says FTP server, ZMPT, Skokie, and all that. This is exactly what we put in the information here, right? Right here. And here, you do always trust this certificate. You could allow that too. That means it's working.
So for you, when you're using this FileZilla and you're connecting, this is just connecting for you locally, right?
No, you could connect anywhere else in the world. For this, I use for my own website, I use FileZilla here, right? So I'll show you in a minute here. FileZilla, you could use it anywhere in the world.
Okay. So if I put in what you just put, would it give me exactly what you just got on your screen or no?
Yeah, exactly. This, if it would have been half a world away, it would have been the same thing. Okay, right here it says same as the subject. Certificate is self-assigned. Okay, you're assigning the certificate on your own. You could do that, but you have to pay for it in reality because you don't want. I mean, anybody would say like, "Oh, my server is secure, right?" But that doesn't mean your server. I cannot take it. It's like your birth certificate, okay? Can you issue your own birth certificate? Why not? But in reality, you need a birth certificate from the county, right? That's what this is. When they issue the certificate, this is exactly what they're doing is they have an operating system. They generate the SSH key using OpenSSL. and save this information, what have you, put it in there, and it will go in there. It costs you money though, couple $100 a month, a year actually. Okay, if I click OK here, and it says waiting for retry. Uh-oh.
So how would that work? How would I connect to the one you're using? If let's say I myself create a server using this VirtualBox and I use the exact same IP, then what would happen?
If you're using it locally, then there is no problem. You could do that.
So
But
is
if
that
you-
what it's connecting for you right now? When you just connected, you were just connecting locally?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if this was in internet, then you have to have a username and password in there.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna use explicit and see if that will help.
So this will force it to use FTP, correct?
Yeah, explicit TLS. Let me go ahead and put in the port number here. I'm gonna have to change the host name. Let me restart the system though. Okay. Oh, come on. I think I have to change the permissions here for the certificate. So let me see, I have to. Okay, so yeah, we have to run this here. Let's see if this is gonna change anything. Okay, now, where is that FileZilla? There you go. We are in now. Did you see that? So yeah, we have to enable the SE Linux here. Good thinking. Very good. I could tell you you related. How did you know we need to enable this? Because we already did today, right? FTP. We did set up a FTP server when we were using the Pixie boot. Below. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is, in here I go into my documents and
What does the SE bool mean in that command you sent for it to allow through the
Set
SE
SE Boolean. Boolean means either on or off. On is 1, off is 0. Earlier in the day, we used same exact thing, right? Set SE bool, allow FTPD full access 1. If we go down in here, so you are turning the switch on or off, okay? Because SE Linux has so many things in there, the switches. Okay, so it's the same exact thing. SE Linux FTPD full access 1, right? 1 is 0 and on. So where did I tell you about this here? I think I told you when we were doing network here, and when I say binary, see here, do you see 0 equals 0? In Linux, 0 is 0 and is represented off, and 1 is 1 and it is represented as on. Would that help you?
So you turning it on, does that automatically enable or allow port 20 and 21 to go through? Is that what you're saying, as well as ports 30 and 1000?
It's actually allowing the service here. We are telling use FTPD service to be allowed through the SE Linux.
So couldn't we have done something similar for this with the SSH connection we were doing last time?
Yeah, we could have done that.
We could have just done Boolean on when we were trying to connect to the server.
Yep. Let's see, what did we do there when we did
I think we went manually and added the ports through SE. It was SE manage.
let's see here. SE manage. Okay, this is for the port. Did we do anything with the service? SE manage.
Well, I think the only reason we were having problems is because default it would run through a port 22 for SSH, so we had to turn that off in the SSH config file.
That is true though. So when you're using SE manage, it is managing, well, okay, here SE Linux is managing import, export, logins, user, ports, keys, and all these are so many stuff is in here, okay? Permissions, Boolean, and also the service. Why is it not showing as a service? Boolean is a selective enable functionality. Permissions manages the type of okay. Port manages the network port type definitions. SE Linux policy module manage. So user manage login mapping. Okay, well, you know what, we're not going to go too much in here, but you got the concept here, like there is another layer of security there. Okay, so you just have to read the white pages and figure it out, because SE Linux sometimes, if the environment is secure for the internal servers, SE Linux is disabled. But make sure what the company policy is before you're actually doing it. Okay, but if you want something like this here, if you're bringing in the outside port here, you would know that, right? You have to enable a port, and you have to read the white pages and see what boolean you have to turn on and off. Okay, in this scenario, for this, it has a FTPD boolean. You have to turn it on, and it make it allow go through the FTP. So now you see this is the proof here. Even after having like firewall and everything is there is another layer of SE Linux that is protecting the system. Did you get it? This is why the Linux is it has so many it is Linux. Other word of Linux is unbreakable Linux. That's what it's called.
So to connect to FTP, there is no default port that's automatically opened or allowed through SE Linux and the firewall. Is there? Like for SSH, port 22 is automatically open.
That is true. But what we are using is, we are also using a variable port here. It's called variable port, not here. We are also using another layer of variable port, 30,000 to 31,000, okay?
Okay.
All these things, all your questions are very valid, but once you start working more and more, it becomes clear.
Oh, no, I meant so ports 20 and 21 are not default ports, right?
Nope. So all those are specific ports here. So it starts from 0 to 65,535 ports. So you have that many doors to the operating system, okay?
Okay.
It can handle all those connections.
Okay. No, I was just asking, so there's no default port for an FTP connection.
Generally speaking, these are used as a default ports.
Okay.
But you don't have to use it. You have a 65,535 choices, okay?
Okay.
All right. So let's take a 5-minute break, and then we'll spend some time in AWS, and after that the class is over. Let's take a 5-minute break here. So let me
I wanted to ask a question before we started.
Yeah.
So are we also going to be going over we need to go over the practice questions and then interview questions?
We'll do that one-on-one. Everybody, I want everybody to set up a time with me, and then we're gonna go over one-on-one. Okay? And I'll put up the interview questions in the website.
Okay.
Yeah. During weekday, text me, and we have to work. Let's copy some files and folders here. So I have this Excel file here. I copy and paste it in here. Okay, and if I go into pictures, I got nothing in there, and nothing in there. So what this will do is it will keep all kind of files there, regardless if it's created on Windows or not.
Hello? Beta!
Okay, database file here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna
Hello?
refresh it.
Beta! Have
Can you go on mute, please? So if you clear this and if you do cd/ftp and you do ls here, you see all the documents in here. Okay. And when you guys probably heard about all this here, right? You heard about the online backup service. What is it? What is okay? OneDrive. Is it OneDrive? Yeah, OneDrive. And what else is an online backup service? Carbonite is there.
OneDrive भी अच्छी है सब.
Oh, you like OneDrive?
Yeah, OneDrive भी ठीक है.
FileZilla. So there are so many out there now, right? There's one popular one. What is that one? No, the one a lot of people are talking about, right? What is that? There is OneDrive, and everybody is into this business actually. Let me. See here, Dropbox. Free trial. $16 per month.
They have one called Mega too.
I'm not surprised. I would say start your own company. In the background, this is what is running. Okay? This is literally what is running here. And then if somebody's data need to be extended, you go in here and keep adding the hard drive and keep extending the LVM. See, look at it here. It's using TLS and SSL. Do you see that? All they're doing is like advertising all this here, and all these things are not new. And these guys are making money off of, I mean, I know they have to put a lot of time and effort in the data center, but all this is running on nothing but Linux. In the background, it's running VSFTPD, nothing else. even Apple has like iCloud, right?
Yeah, iCloud.
Yeah, that's what they're using. All they do is instead of FileZilla, they have like a um, heavily modified application, and that's what it's enabling it here. Look at the 256-bit AES, right? And what do we got here? Look at it here. Fingerprint 256-bit AES. So if you set up a server for yourself, this is as good as the security as iCloud, okay? Alright, that's enough, guys. I'm burnt out on this here. So now let's start AWS, and I'm going to cover not too much, so that I'm going to cover the Linux part here. The AWS is nothing but a big ocean. So if you do AWS, you could sign up for AWS, and it's certain part of AWS is free, okay, for 1 year. So for example, if you do go into pricing, it is a little bit complicated here, so I'm going to go into free tier. Okay, so what is free? Up to 750 hours per month for 12 months. Okay, if you have a server running in the AWS, it will be free for a whole year. 750 hours come out to, so if you have like 750 divided by 30 divided by 24, no, 750 divided by 24, so you could see like 24 hours, right? We have 24 hours, so you could see it's up to 31 days. 750 hours will equal to, okay, so you have that many hours free. There is a database, I'm not going to cover that. There is a S3, that means a storage area, and these are all the free stuff you could get. After that, they will start charging you as you need it, okay? So what you could do is you could sign up for free account, and they will ask for the credit card. And if you go over any of these things, they will start charging you, okay? So here it says EC2. That's what we are going to work on. EC2 is 750 hours. Okay, S3 is S3 is the storage, and it gets up to 5 GB. Okay, and there are a lot of other things in here, so I'm not going to go in there. Let me go ahead and log in here.
Do we have the recording back up, Mr. Zafar?
Huh?
Do we have the recording back up, Mr. Zafar?
Yeah, it's recording, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into another system. So if you look in here, AW has all these services in there. Look at it. I mean, it's like a big ocean, you know. I mean, I don't have all the skills, everything they have. I have some limited skills here. The main skill you need to know is EC2. How to set up a server inside AWS. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is set up EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud Compute. It's just a fancy way to say the server name, okay? It's called Elastic Cloud Compute. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into services, and then I'm gonna go to EC2. And here I have no instances running, right? So what I'll do is I'll click on instance. Instance means server. Okay, so instance means server. So what I'll do is I'll go and see where it says launch instance.
Okay, I think you have to stop the instances, right?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going in here and settings and okay, state I'm gonna say I'm gonna terminate instance here. It's not gonna terminate because you have to stop it first. Let's try it anyway.
Right.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't have the termination protection. So it's shutting it down, then it will terminate.
Mm-hmm.
And from here, we're gonna get disconnected. See, I got disconnected here because the remote box is not there anymore.
So when you connected using the key, it automatically puts you through as the root user?
No, it puts you through as a regular user. Then you switch as root, but it didn't ask you for the password. Why it didn't ask you for the password? Because of the key.
Because you had the key already. Yeah.
And if you don't have a key, there is nothing in this world that will allow you to get in there. If you have a key, you could do a lot of things in there.
Okay. And you were saying, so when you want to create different keys based on how it is, you would have to just create the instances separately?
Yeah. So now that we killed one instance, that's gone. There is no way you could retrieve this. There is no way you could retrieve this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I have the second instance and I'm going to follow the same exact things here. But the second instance, this part is different. So I'm going to go into the second instance. Clear. So I'm jumping from the local server to the remote server. Yes. There you go. I'm in. Look at the username. Who am I? It says EC2 user. And if I do sudo hyphen, and there you go. Who am I?
Yeah. Root. So sudo is already on your AWS. Like you can
No.
already do that one.
That's a Linux command, dude. That's a Linux command.
Linux.
AWS is just giving you the interface for the Linux servers, Windows servers, and all. Did you get it?
Because we already.
If I share this key with you right now, ping this IP address. Wherever you are, it will work from your side too. Ping this IP address. Ping this IP address 18.224.135.120. It should be pinging.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? You could ping it from anywhere in the world. Uh-oh. Is it pinging you for you guys?
$20, 2, 4, 1, 3, 5.
18.224.135.120.
No, mine isn't pinging yet.
So the reason it's not pinging is
It's not connected.
no, it is connected.
Is there a firewall blocking it?
Now try this here, DNS name. So the reason it's not pinging is, so what you have to do is you have to go into this firewall. So go into security, and this is the firewall. You open that up, and the port is open, so I don't know why it's not doing it. So what you have to do is you have to do anywhere in the world. So if I save this, it will start pinging right away. See, it's not pinging, right? If I save this, it will start pinging.
Oh, if you didn't change that inbound rule, would it not have allowed you to connect from a different connection? I mean, different area.
It wouldn't. You have to need the. You need the key.
Okay.
Uh,
So wait, now that you changed the rule, if you try connecting without the key, will it just ask you to log in or use a password now?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back.
But you didn't set up any users, right, or create passwords yet?
That's the key thing. This is why the Amazon is. You don't. A lot of headache is gone. Lot of headaches is being taken care by Amazon.
Okay. So what happened if you tried to connect without an actual user you created a password for?
It won't allow. See? Now, I don't know the username and password, right? How do I connect? Give me 1 second here.
Can't you use the key?
So this is the part where you said if you lost the key, you're dead in water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go ahead, Austin.
No, I was gonna say, can't you use the key?
What?
And sudo, can't you use the key and sudo into the server?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you have key, then you could do it
And he just tried it right now without the key.
without the key.
Oh yeah.
So if you lose the key through AWS, can it show you the new one, or would you have to generate a new one for the server?
You can't.
You can't?
You just can't connect to the server, guys. That is very, very important. What you might want to do is, that's why there are people waiting and out there for all this here. So, I mean to say that's where your skills comes in, right? And there are so many other different jobs are opening up because there are so many other different things are there.
So there would be no fix if somebody lost the key? Like,
I'm pretty sure that's give me 1 second here. So yeah, if you lost the key, there is nothing in the world, as far as I know, that will get you to get back in there. Okay? So don't lose the key. The security is top notch. It automatically. So right now, let me disable this here. Even with the key, you're not gonna be able to go do anything to it. Why? Because we took it off. Okay, so let me go back in there and try to go back in there and see what happens. So I cannot. Oh. Okay, so this is the key we used, right, earlier? Okay, so this
Yeah, but
session.
server, you added the key, didn't you already?
Okay, so I'm gonna go and hit enter. So what is happening here is the firewall is blocking. Okay, so it will sit there for rest of the life and it will never be able to connect unless you go in here again and you edit inbound rule, you add a rule, and you add a popular rule here, right? SSH is most common and popular rule, and you do anywhere in the, oh, here's the thing, my IP. What it's going to do is it will automatically detect my IP and it will only allow connecting from my IP. If I save this here and if I go back in there, okay, so it connected only from my IP. Either you could do it from anywhere in the world, or you could do only on the specific location if you're trying to do it. It's very advanced. Lot of pain in the neck is been taken care of. All right. So I would say, get a good hang of Linux first, even if it's a Linux or AWS, whatever, Azure, whatever. They need Linux people to work with them, because they could create thousands of servers, but who's going to manage that? Linux guys. Okay.
Yeah.